These are my profits from trading last week alone. However, man to man, you'll probably never be able to do this yourself, because you can't even watch a video all the way till the end. I'll give you my entire strategy and the exact approach that I use in order to get these profits. But once again, if you don't want to listen to me, then you might as well just close the video because you're not serious about trading. If you are serious about trading, then let's make a ton of money together. Alright, so here we are at the backtest. The goal of this video is for you to be able to walk away with a proven system that not only works, but it also works on every single market. Whether it's futures, crypto, or forex, you can trade at all markets. Which leads us to step 1. And you're going to go onto the daily chart and identify the direction. This is where most traders are failing, because they are just trading blindly on the 5-minute time frame without having any sense of direction. Now keep in mind, I know that a lot of you guys have struggles with keeping up with the daily bias, so we're going to concentrate on this specific point of the strategy even more in this video. And there's a very simple concept that you can basically follow up to every single time that you're going to go onto the daily chart, because it is very easy to identify and it will most likely always work. Now it is going to be displacement equals to indication. But what is displacement to begin with? When you have a daily candle like so, and the next candle is going to trade higher with its body closure, so basically this entire range that I'm marking out is higher than the previous candle wick, then you have displacement going on. Now in this case, as you can see, this was not displacement because this candle did not trade lower with its body below the previous candle, so this is not displacement. However, in this case we have clear displacement that we're trading higher. Now of course this will also depend on context, but overall, if you're implementing displacement in your daily direction, then most likely you will end up having the direction that you wanted it to go. Now you know how to identify the daily direction. Now there's more things to the strategy, because just identifying the daily direction would have been too easy. But this simple concept alone will bring you very far, no matter what strategy you're actually going to trade. And actually, don't even take my word for it. Go back onto the charts after this video has finished, and you will see that this concept is one of the most simplest things that you can implement in order to identify the daily direction. So we're going to continue with the actual strategy. Now where is the next daily candle going to go? Are we going for the previous day high or for the previous day low? And in this case, this is basically a no-brainer. We already know that we're most likely going to go to the upside and not to the downside. That is pretty much all that we need for the daily bias. Which leads us to step 2, which is going to be more confluences. I want you to drop down onto the 4-hour time frame, and now every single candle is representing 4 hours worth of price action. And in this case, what can we see? If you have seen the previous videos, which I highly recommend as they're going to help you identify these things way quicker, we have relative equal highs combined with the previous day high. Now this is a very strong signal that we need to go on to the upside. Most traders get stuck in the wrong direction because they haven't identified these things earlier. Now, as you can see, we only have 3 lines on the chart and we already know where we're going to trade off from. And from here on, this is just basically light work for us, because we're going to execute the trade, and the way we're going to do that is drop down onto the 1-hour time frame and go to 11 PM UTC standard time. From here on, you're just simply going to take along with the market order onto the upside. Now we have already identified that we need to go higher. Now you can shoot for 2 different targets. Either it's going to be the relative equal highs or the previous day high. Now a lot of the times you can actually shoot for the relative equal highs, but in this case I'm just going for the previous day high, as you don't want to overextend to take profit and look for small and steady growth over time. Now in this case, the stop loss is going to be right at that low, and you're going to give it a little bit more room so you have a little bit of a buffer, because most likely the spread is going to take you out otherwise. And from here on, you simply want to let the market do its thing. Now whether or not this is going to be a stop loss hit or a take profit hit, I want you to be focused onto the price action. If you have done the analysis beforehand, you already know that this is most likely going to be a take profit hit. And as you can see, it straight up went to our take profit. Now this trade alone has made us over $6,000. Pretty good if you ask me. So the first step is going to be daily direction as always. And I have a very simple question for you. Have we displayed the previous candle or not? Now the previous candle in this case is basically meant this one. Have we traded lower with the body closure below the wick of this candle? Yes, we did. The entire body candle is way lower than the actual wick itself. So it is safe to say that we have clear displacement onto the downside. So from here on, our entire bias is going to be bearish, and we have already arrived at step 2. We need more confluences to support the direction. Drop down to the 4-hour time frame and look for more reasons on why the price should go lower and not higher. Now this can be anything, literally. Either it's going to be relative equal lows or some kind of FEG that you see on the left, because as discussed in the previous videos, we like to trade into FEGs and not trade the regular way the retail traders and all of the ICT gurus are doing, but we're doing the complete opposite because this is the only way to be profitable. So there you go, you have the relative equal lows and the previous day low aligning perfectly with each other. Where is the price more likely to go? Of course it's going to go for the downside once again. Now the next thing is going to be the trade execution itself. Now do we have more reasons on why price should continue lower than higher? Yes, we definitely have. Now if you have watched the entire video until this point, then you know we will continue lower. So as always, I want you to drop down onto the 1-hour time frame and go to 11 PM UTC Standard Time. From here on, you're just going to simply take a position onto the downside. Now can we spot more things that are basically helping us to predict even further the price? Now in this case I can see that we have an FEG that has already been filled. I have told you previously that we like to trade into the FEGs and not out of them. However in this case, this candle high has already traded into the FEG, so this becomes a protective low. Now you can aim for the relative equal lows. However, since the signal is so strong in this case, if you have problems identifying why this trade is so good to begin with, then join the Discord and I'll explain it to you in there. So in this case, we're actually going to target a 142 because the quality of the trade is that high. So from here on, as always, we have already done the entire analysis and we just want to take the trade. Since we have already identified the stop loss, the risk to reward is the only next thing that we have to know, which is going to be a 142 as I previously said. And from here on, as always, you want to trade relentlessly. No matter if the trade is going to go into a drawdown, keep in mind guys, every single trade idea, no matter how good the setup is, you will go into a drawdown phase. And this is very normal. If you are not able to endure these kinds of phases within your trading, then most likely you will not be profitable, as this is a key major part of being a trader. You have to withstand that no matter how the trade is going. And as you can see, that's another take profit hit. If you have traded this in the actual live market, you would have been in quite a bit of a drawdown period. However, this whip psychology comes into the play. You have to trade relentlessly and always stick to the plan that I have given you beforehand. Because if you're doing exactly what I'm telling you, then you will get very great results. Because this trade alone has made us over $5,000. Now wait. Before you are going to backtest this insane strategy, I have one more question. Are you the type of trader that hops from strategy to strategy? Now why am I asking that? Because I've been there myself. 5 years ago when I just started trading, I've looked into YouTube and I tried multiple different strategies, and most of them, to be honest, didn't even work to begin with. But surely at least one of them actually worked. But the reason I still wasn't profitable at that time is because I dropped every single strategy by just backtesting it for a month and just dropping it overall. So this time, do yourself a favor. Stick to the strategy, as this is going to be the last profitable system that you will actually need. Now, but don't get me wrong here. Everything is already free on the internet. However, I've created my own mentorship, where I guide traders through everything that they have to learn in order to become a profitable trader. No matter if you're already advanced or at the beginning stage of trying to achieve financial freedom, this mentorship is for anybody that is trying to learn and actually achieve that. Now whether you want to work with me or not, I appreciate you watching till the end. On the left you'll get the entire playlist explaining the entire strategy and how I've got to all of these profits. And on the right you can subscribe to the channel, as this is going to greatly help me out. See you guys in the next one.